you can have anything you want when you master the art of surrender. And today I'm going to be sharing with you exactly how to surrender. But before I get going, I'm Tanya Pluckrose from Rich Results Mindsets, and I'm all about helping you master this. This is master your mind so you can master your life. And if any of my content is inspiring you, it's elevating you, it's blessing you, it's healing you, then please consider sharing, liking, commenting, and I'd love it if you would subscribe. Okay, let me get going. Let me get going with this subject called surrender. Now, surrender is an art. It really is an art, and it's a form of detachment. A detachment from the outcome. But many people, unfortunately, don't know when to surrender. And often many people give up without first surrendering first, right? Many people say, stuff it. I'm just not going to get it. I'm just going to let it go. And so many people end up not without their cash and prizes. You always hear me say cash and prizes on this, but what I mean is your manifestations. When I refer to that, I'm just having fun with you. But in order to master the art of surrender, there really comes a point, I believe, and this is what's worked for me, I have to go to the edge. I literally have to go to the razor's edge where I am so burnt out, nearly broke or broken, for me to go, I'm done. I'm cooked, I'm barbecued, I'm fried. I just don't know what else to do. I then in that moment am able to let go. But for some people, they can just ask, forget about it and just let it go. But for me, I tend to go to battle to the 11th hour of the 11th minute before I surrender. I surrender to a power greater than myself. And so I want to share with you two examples, two true stories to illustrate surrender to you so that you really understand it. And I hopefully by my storytelling that you will not get to that place. You will not get to that place of being barbecued, fried, or burnt out before you will surrender. So here it goes. Okay, so the first example was when I used to work for Qantas, because I used to work for an airline for over 21 years. I climbed the ladder of success within the company, and my last promotion was to be the manager, the leading flight attendant of the big mothership, the A380. In case you don't know what the A380 is, it's an Airbus, and it's the largest aircraft type in the world, and it holds over 500 passengers. And many airlines have bought this aircraft type to carry large amounts of people, and often this aircraft type is used for long distance. And its reason why it's used for long distance is because it's so fuel efficient with the material it has been made of. But also it gives such great comfort to passengers because there's so much more room between the seats, in the seats, as well as moving around, okay? So I remember it was 2008 and Qantas had ordered 12 of them, and they were a new aircraft type. And so Qantas wanted to add this particular aircraft type to its fleet, and they ordered 12 from Airbus. And I remember the A380, this particular aircraft, the first one, there was a big celebration, a big inaugural day, and the very first A380 touched down from Singapore, and it came into a hangar at Sydney Domestic Terminal, and all the press were there. It was a big show for really Australian passengers, really, to get all excited and jazzed up about this aircraft type being their part of their next destination, their holiday destination. So there was a lot of hype, and I went to the hangar, and I'll never forget seeing that aircraft come into the hangar. And I remember standing there and going, I am going to be a manager of that aircraft type. I mean, I'd been a manager of so many other aircraft types, the 747, the 737, 300, 400, the 767. I'd flown on all aircraft types, but I tell you, I so wanted to be the manager of the Big Daddy, the big mothership. I mean, it was a real honor and privilege to be the manager of that big mothership. And so I set my heart on being the manager of that, of course, and I applied. You had to put in an application to be chosen. You were a special one if you were selected to work on that aircraft type. And let me tell you, I went for so many interviews, and I did get onto that aircraft type, but I was second in charge. I wasn't quite the leading lady. And of course, being second in charge meant you had to work in coach. You had to work in economy. And that was downstairs for Qantas, where there were 332 passengers, where I, as a manager, had to ensure that the crew in that particular section delivered an exceptional client experience. So I remember I was stuck down there for 2 years, and I'd go to work with gritted teeth, because I wanted to be the manager. I wanted to be running the whole show. And of course, the more of a poor attitude I had, I noticed that I wasn't getting chosen when these promotion opportunities would come up. And the resentment was building and building. And I remember I was stuck in coach for 2 years. And at that time, I hadn't got involved with the mindset work. I hadn't been exposed to Bob at that stage. So I had no idea that my actual attitude was getting in the way of me being selected. And so I just was struggling. I'd go to work, I'd make it all wrong. I'd make the passengers wrong, the crew wrong, the manager, the leading person all wrong. Oh, I should be doing that. Look at them. They're not doing it properly. They could be doing it better. Oh, listen to them on the PA, making those public address messages to all the passengers. Oh, I could do it much better than. Oh, it was full of so much arrogance. Oh, I could die. So anyway, I was getting more and more frustrated because I wasn't chosen, and I couldn't figure out why. And it got to a point after going to so many interviews that I surrendered. And literally, I was exhausted. I was broken inside, applying, every few months, time and time again, in a 2-year period. That the last interview, I remember coming home and I went, I'm done. I think I cried because I knew I hadn't done very well. I knew that the interviewees didn't kind of like me. And I cried for 3 hours solid. I was so heartbroken. I just couldn't do it anymore to myself. And so I made a promise to myself that I wasn't going to do it anymore. I was done. Just give it up, Tanya. And in that moment, I remember after I'd sobbed for 3 hours, I howled. I don't know if any of the neighbors heard me in my apartment, but I howled. I was so disappointed and so exhausted. And I remember that a great peace came over me. A great peace came over me in that moment. And I knew that I'd finally moved into a place of acceptance, because acceptance is the key to all our problems. And so I remember the relief I had when I finally made peace with the fact that I was going to be in coach possibly for the rest of my airline days. And I just remember saying, I'm going to be all right. It doesn't matter, Tanya. You've got this far. Go and just enjoy yourself and coach. Go and really enjoy it. Love on all the people. Love the crew. Be the best manager you can be and coach, and leave it at that. And just enjoy flying, and don't worry about the position. So this was on the Saturday, okay? After 3 hours, I finally made peace. And on the Monday, they rang me. I'd had the interview on the Friday, and I thought I'd done terribly. And on the Monday, they rang me and said, we want you. You're in, Tanya. We really want you. You have proven to us how dedicated you are in wanting to be a leader of a team and of the mothership. We are going to offer you the position. And so I learned then that really there's so much power and potency when you master the art of surrender. So I highly recommend you don't go to the 11th hour of the 11th minute like I went to. It was so painful to surrender. And it's funny, when you drop the resistance and you make peace, acceptance of what is, that's when there's movement on the outside. Really, you're releasing the kink in the hose. Now, another example is one of my clients who also had a similar experience, and she is a real estate agent, and she has been working with an interesting client, a seller, for quite a while, and the seller is adamant on getting the certain price that really is not in resonance with what the market says the home is worth. But he's been adamant, I want this price and I'm not going any lower. Nope, I'm not. This is the price. And this has been going on for a good 4-5 months now. And the other day she went to see him and she was trying to negotiate again. And once again, the rich royal battle was happening from him with all of her suggestions. And she left. She just left and went, okay, we'll just leave it on the market for the price you want. And she walked away once again broken, really, and disappointed and very much burnt out, trying to convince this client to sell. And she went and sat in her car for an hour and a half. She told me an hour and a half. And she sat there. And at first she was very upset and like me, broken and just so burnt out. And then in the end, she just made peace. She accepted. It is what it is. I have done my best, she said. There's nothing more I can do. I'm just going to let go and let God. And the funny thing is, the moment she said the words and offered it over to a power greater than herself, just surrendered, just didn't care anymore. Took her an hour and a half to get there, an hour and a half. The moment she just relaxed about it, whatever, she actually was just starting up the ignition of the car. And guess who came running out the house? The owner. Yes, the owner. He came running out the house. Fine, let's just do it. I'm not going to wait anymore. I'm done. Let's lower the price to what you suggest. I'm done. We're doing it. And of course, it went into escrow straight away. It's gone into escrow, right? Because she had a buyer ready at a lower price, the price she was suggesting, but he wasn't budging. And of course, this is another beautiful testimony for you to realize that when things are not working out for you and you've done your part, you literally have done your part, there's just one more thing you need to do. Surrender. Just let it go, accept it. And you will feel the peace. You literally feel the resistance melt away from you. And that is when the magic happens. So I hope this video helps you today to master the art of surrender, because it is really the key, the winning formula for you manifesting whatever you want.